Good morning, everybody. Well, we're back. This is the live Earl Stewart. You just heard the recorded Earl Stewart, but this show is live. I'm live right now. In fact, very special. Jonathan just informed me we're transmitting out to the people that are watching us the video in 4K, so you can see how beautiful we all are, and every pore and blemish. 4K right here at Earl on Cars. So you Facebook folks and YouTube folks, you're in for a treat. At least with Nancy, she's pretty, and you'll enjoy Nancy Stewart. In case you're new to the show, you heard the recorded introduction maybe. We are unique. We are kind of a crazy team of people that tell it like it is. I mean, everybody tells you they tell it like it is. We really do. We're kind of like a counterculture kind of a thing. I'm a car dealer. I've been a car dealer for almost 50 years, and I've got a story to tell about the way I started out, the way I transformed myself, and here I am, a consumer advocate. And it's interesting. Maybe I'm not as interesting as I think I am, but I don't know anybody else that does what we do. In the studio, you heard earlier, we have myself. We have Rick Kearney. Rick is the Certified Diagnostic Master Technician. And if you've got a car that you've got a problem with, and who doesn't? I mean, you would think today with the advanced technology we have that cars were just absolutely question, trouble, problem-free. But they're not. They're more complicated. Now, they're better, don't get me wrong. The cars today are amazing compared to what we drove 20, 30, 40 years ago. But they are also very complex. Electronically, they're computerized. So, therefore, you probably still have maybe more questions about the operation of your car. Call and ask to speak to Rick Kearney. The telephone number that you can reach Rick at is 877-960-9960. That's 877-960-9960. Or maybe even better, he monitors YouTube, and he will see your YouTube postings as soon as they go on. And that's just Earl on Cars. I'm sorry, it's youtube.com, www.youtube.com/Earl on Cars. youtube.com/Earl on Cars. Rick sees that, sees your posting, and he can get to your question. If you really want to get cool, tricky, you can send him an audio clip or a video clip, just describing the problem that you want to discuss or the issue you want to discuss. And you can get a diagnosis from Rick Kearney this morning between 8 and 10. We're on between 8 and 10 Eastern Standard Time. Might cost you $200 if you go into a car dealership or more. Maybe get a free diagnosis on a problem you have. Save yourself a lot of money. Stu Stewart is sitting right across the table from me. And he's a hands-on car dealer. He's been with me for many, many years. He's my son and general manager of our dealership. So he sees the day-to-day stuff that's going on with new and used car sales, real time. And as you say, you're talking to a bunch of insiders here. We tell it like it is. We operate differently. Our dealership is different. We think differently than most all car dealers. And we're thinking that you probably think like we do. So that's the reason we call ourselves consumer advocates. And to my left is Nancy Stewart. She's my co-host. Started the show with me. We were talking the other day, how long ago was it? I never can remember, but I always say about 20 years. And we started out a half an hour. Radio station at that time was called Seaview Radio. It's a little bitty station. And we were there for quite a while. Got fired, actually.
That's right.
We were off the air for about a year. The car dealers in the South Florida market boycotted Seaview Radio and said, if you don't get rid of Earl on Cars, if you don't get rid of Earl and Nancy, we're going to stop advertising with you. And sure enough, the Seaview owners caved and reluctantly said, sorry, Earl and Nancy, we're going to have to let you go. So we were looking for work for about a year, and we finally found out that Seaview was sold to the current owners. And by golly, they're true journalists. I mean, they're true reporters. they don't cave in to what the advertisers want them to say. Back in the day, I think a long time ago, a lot of journalists were that way. Today, there's a lot of compromise in the way things are communicated to you. But this radio station right here, True Oldies, they really are honest journalists, and they keep us here. They got to get a lot of static, and they probably get some pressure from car dealers. But interestingly enough, car dealers are advertising on this station, mainly because I think the station is doing extremely well, and our ratings are quite good at Earl on Cars. We have listeners and viewers from all over the world, literally. We even had a call from Bali at one time, and we get routinely calls from all over the United States. So here we are. We cater mainly to you. We got a whole lot of stuff. I got automotive news. I got news articles. We have all sorts of material, mainly out of habit. Nancy's flinching over here. I think she probably means we have a caller.
I don't think that's officially a flinch.
Huh?
Yeah. At any rate, good morning, everyone. Here I am.
Nancy's not a flincher.
Oh, not a flincher?
She's not a flincher.
You'll know when I'm flinching.
Her hand was going like this.
That's a signal.
Oh.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome. Take advantage of youranonymousfeedback.com. We're going straight to the phones where Roseanne is waiting, and if you don't recall Roseanne, she called last week and she was getting some information from Rick. Yep, Rick, the mechanic. There's no question he cannot answer. He's amazing. At any rate, Roseanne and I had a chance to chat. She promised she'd give us a call back, so here she is. Good morning, Roseanne.
Good morning. Thank you so much for taking my call.
You're welcome.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Oh, okay. I was dying to report back to you last week. My car battery had died again, and it was
Roseanne
a problem.
is not in my ear.
I'm sorry. I don't know why it's not.
Oh, no, we
can
hear you.
You can hear me now?
Yep, I can hear you.
Thank you so much. I wanted to call back to say how much I appreciated when I got to Earl Stewart. They dealt with my problem immediately. They were so kind and so thoughtful there, but they also came up with some alternative reasons why the car battery may have had a problem. And I loved the idea. I've moved my purse far away from the car now. When it's in the house, it's all the way in the back bedroom so that the key is nowhere near the battery, so they're not talking to each other anymore. But they also said that there's a test they can do. But everything else they did there, including making you feel comfortable and safe. And you and I both know that as women, the worst feeling we have is if a car breaks down and we don't know what we're doing and we don't feel safe. Mm-hmm. So I can't thank you enough. And I've taken your check and I've brought it to the prayer shawl ministry so all the ladies there can see it. I brought it to our landscape group, which are all ladies, and they've all seen it. And I brought it to my birthday lunch group, and they've all seen the check. And all of the women here in West Palm are talking about you. So thank you, thank you, thank you.
Oh, that's fantastic.
You're so welcome, Roseanne.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
You really spread the word, and you know what that
and
does.
We'll continue to do so because you make women feel safe.
But we suggest you cash the check and you know, enjoy it.
Let me show it for a while longer, please.
Okay.
We have a commitment here, Roseanne, and that is to build a relationship. Let the ladies feel more comfortable, and to let them know that we have a vision, that they are part of this industry. Financially, if a dealership doesn't recognize that, it's called financial disaster. So I thank you for your call, and I'll wait to hear from your friends.
And I think you will. Bye-bye.
Have a great day. 877.
That was really sweet.
Yeah, she was really a sweet lady. I was on the phone with her for a while last week. Anyway, give us a call at 877-960-9960. And don't forget, you can text us at 772-497-6530. Your anonymous feedback. Take advantage of that. And Roseanne was a winner last week, as you heard. And if you don't know, first 2 new lady callers, you can win yourself $50 this morning. And everyone needs an extra 50. Get yourself some gas, maybe,
Half
or
tank.
a Powerball ticket.
Yeah, improve your odds with 50 Powerball tickets.
Now back to the recovering car dealer.
25. They're $2 each.
Oh,
The text number, I don't know if we gave that out, but Stu collects the texts, Rick collects the YouTubes, and the Facebook, Stu does that too. So facebook.com/Earl on Cars. You can see us on video there, and you can post. So we pick up just about all your communications. Old-fashioned text, 772, area code 772-497-6530, 772-497-6530. We sometimes get behind on the text, but then we catch up. And our most popular form normally is the anonymous feedback. It's unique in the fact that we don't know who you are, where you are. You can say anything you want. We read it exactly. We value candid comments because sometimes we get people that would like to say something, but maybe they're too polite or shy or whatever it may be. They don't want to come out and say it and be identified. That's okay. I mean, privacy is important. That's the buzzword today, privacy. So youranonymousfeedback.com, ANONYMOUS, youranonymousfeedback.com. And we don't know who you are. Just tell it like it is. We value input from the industry, and by that I mean the wholesale and the retail. Manufacturers, we'd love to hear some from the manufacturers out there. General Motors, Honda, Toyota, people that are out there. And dealers, very important. We're going through a transition now that there's a lot of things happening that people don't want to talk about. We have an article here, thanks to Jonathan in the control room. He found it in Car and Driver. Now, I don't usually look at Car and Driver that much because, to use my slang expression, Car and Driver is kind of like into the pocket of the manufacturers. And, if you see the Car and Driver Car of the Year award, you can bet that manufacturer advertised in Car and Driver magazine more than anybody else. So we don't like that, so we think they're prejudiced in some ways. But this article actually was... got my attention because it's called Sympathy for the Car Dealers. It says new car dealers just clocked their best year ever, and yet their future has never looked shakier. Now, you don't see that kind of article very often. We've talked about it on this show, but the way cars are being retailed is going through a radical change. And the information that Car and Driver got was from the manufacturers, and the manufacturer sources said, you've heard it before, don't quote me on this. So anonymous source after anonymous source was responsible for this article. And basically, I'll sum it up for you. The manufacturers don't like to have to sell cars through us dealers. I say us because in full transparency, we have a Toyota dealership. I've had it since 1975. And so we are car dealers, but we're also consumer advocates. But the manufacturers have looked at Tesla and said, wow, here's this upstart guy, Elon Musk, who a few years ago had this joke like an all-electric vehicle. Everybody laughed at him. And now he's one of the volume manufacturers in the world. He's the number one luxury car manufacturer in the world, and he has a combined value of Tesla. The Tesla stock is worth all of the other automotive stocks combined and then some. So Tesla, Elon Musk, and the all-electric vehicle, but it isn't the all-electric vehicle that makes Elon Musk so unique, is that Elon Musk sells his Teslas directly to you. They don't have a dealer network. Now, you might say, well, if you have a Tesla, yeah, there's a dealership. Yeah, that dealership is owned by Elon Musk. It's owned by Tesla. So there's no middleman. If you buy a Chevrolet, a Honda, a Toyota, you're going through the middleman. And my dealership is a middleman Toyota sells. Actually, I'm a third-party middleman. Toyota sells cars to a distributor, who then sells the cars to me, and then I sell the cars to you. Now, this article.
That can't be good for you.
That can't. So, Tesla has a 20% cost advantage by not having to go through dealers. Now, you got to believe that all the other manufacturers say, "Whoa, we'd like to do that," but they can't talk about it. I mean, think about it. You can't talk about it because if you get the dealers mad at you, you're in trouble. Now, there's even an article.
And you've done that before.
Oh yeah. They're all mad at me, but the dealers are kind of like they see it coming, and they're going now through their groups, their dealer organizations, and they're going to the state legislatures, and they're going to try to firm up the laws in each state. All 50 states have laws that are keeping the dealers in existence. So it's going to be an exciting time ahead. There's going to be a lot of legislating and a lot of arguing and a lot of lobbying. And I think in the end, you will be the winner. The consumer will be the winner because the one thing the manufacturer has to have and the dealer has to have you. And to have you got to satisfy them. So look forward to more pleasant times as a car buyer. I've been yakking a lot. Don't we have a telephone call?
We don't.
Okay.
But I do want to remind you about that article that you and I were talking about
Oh, yeah.
in reference to what you just said. It is time for the consumer, and things are looking up finally for the consumer.
Yeah.
Things are going to be not perfect, but almost. Well, we're getting there. It's slow. 877-960-9960. Or you can text us at 772-497-6530. I think this Saturday morning we are going to take advantage, well, not advantage, but we're going to recognize Stu for his texts and Rick for his YouTubes.
Yeah,
We've been bombarded with phone calls.
Last few weeks, we've
yeah.
had a hard time getting to them, but
So
now-
you guys go for it.
yeah, we can kick it off to Anne-Marie. Anne-Marie says, "Good morning. Years ago, I was on a road trip when my car broke down in a small town. I had to wait until Monday to get my car towed to the dealer 30 miles away. That reminds me of like like an old story. Well, you can stay up in the barn while we work on your car." Anyway, it took her until Monday, 30 miles away. They squeezed me in, fixed the problem, and I was on my way in half an hour. That experience prompts today's questions. How does your service department decide which car to work on when they show up without an appointment? Is it first come, first serve? Is it based on critical need? Does a tourist broken down car being towed into your shop get taken care of before someone just coming in for an oil change? Of course it does. How do you triage vehicles without appointments? And that's a great question. Well, a lot of it, and I bet you I'll let Rick get into it on like the dispatching of work, but a lot of the work gets dispatched to the qualified technician. For example, a lot of the basic maintenance stuff, most of it goes to our lube technicians. And if you go in a lot of dealerships, you can see them right out front, and they're the guys changing the oil and rotating tires. And then we have various degrees of skills of technician in the shop, culminating with Rick Kearney at the pinnacle. He just sits up there in his throne. And so it gets dispatched that way. But of course, when there's special situations like that, if somebody comes in and gosh, I'm out of town, I need a special thing. Everything is kind of looked at individually and triaged that way. Rick, I'll let you jump in.
Well, I'm gonna jump in between both of you because I disagree with Stu's analysis. That's the way it's supposed to be.
Again?
No, that's the way it should be. The fact of the matter is, if there is a problem with car dealers all over the world.
I got to interject. Earl, whenever something doesn't go right, that means nothing works right. So but go ahead.
No, it's the fact that cars are complex things. People are complex things too. And we have appointments. Car dealerships have appointments where they come in. But a lot of people, as the texter said, as Anne-Marie said, they don't have. They have an emergency. Now, emergencies prior. The dealers intend to prioritize the appointments, and the emergencies depend on the analysis of the individual. A typical car dealership has service advisors, we call them, they're really service salesmen. And each one's got a different personality. Each one of them has a customer following. My point is, the most common complaint I get as a car dealer, and I get a lot of complaints because I make my cell phone, my personal number, known to everybody. So when a customer of mine has a problem, they call me personally, email me personally, text me personally. And I can tell you right now, there's no other car dealer out there that can make that statement. One of the most common calls I get, complaints, is, my car was towed in and it didn't get taken care of, or I came in for a routine oil change and it didn't get taken care of. It's a very, very delicate, balanced system, and consumers don't get treated the way they should be in most dealerships when it comes to priority. The way it should be was just the way Stu described it.
Well, and if it's happening 99% of the time, 1% out of thousands of customers is going to seem like a lot of complaints.
Yeah, but it's more than that. It's truly the average waiting time, and you listeners out there, and you viewers, you can this would be a great call. We'd love to have you call or text about the subject. How do you view your experience in terms of the time it takes for your car to be taken care of, either routine service or special issue where you have a problem with your car? My guess is, here's a good analogy. Is there anybody happy about the amount of time they have to wait for a doctor? If you go into a hospital emergency room, or if you're going to see your doctor, how happy are you with the time you have to wait? And I think the answer is very few people are happy with that. It's a challenge for car dealers, it's a challenge for doctors, and when people have issues that are, your car stops at I-95, and you got a meeting, or you got something important you have to do, and your car is towed into a dealership. How quickly can that be fixed? When will they look at it? The thing that chills me is when they say, my car was, I came in at 3 o'clock. They said they'd have my car out by 4:30. I looked out there in the service drive, and they haven't even parked it yet. It's still where I left it. So we hear a lot of that. We admit it's a problem. Rick, I jumped in ahead of you.
Before Rick says anything, I do have to add to this. There's nothing more reassuring, and Anne-Marie, this is a great question, nothing more reassuring than to know that you can connect with that dealership wherever you are, and there's nothing more unique than to be able to call the owner of that dealership. I remember Earl and I having a lot of telephone calls when he put our home telephone number out there for anybody and everybody, and they called the house, and they were in shock that they were able to get the owner or the owner's wife. So there's a connection there that can help when you're in the service department and something slips through the cracks. And no matter who you are, what you are, how perfect you are,
Rick's there,
it'll happen.
Rick's there every day, so let's hear what he has to say.
Well, the only real difficult part is a car may come in just for a simple oil change, and suddenly as we're looking at this car, hey, all 4 of your wheels, the brakes are just about gone.
Good point. Yeah.
And suddenly that 30, 45 minute to an hour oil change has just become 4 or 5 more hours of work. Mm-hmm. Or, hey, did you know you're leaking oil here? Which can add several hours onto a job.
Or correct me if I'm wrong here. Let's say that you have a job just like you described, and someone has a routine appointment to come in at 10 o'clock, and you just got the car you described that was supposed to be in for routine at 9 o'clock. Now, you have to identify your issue, the fact that the car you're working on now is going to be tied up longer than expected. Then you have to notify a service advisor, who also has to notify a customer that the car that they brought in has 1 or 2 cars ahead of it that have an emergency situation.
You're describing a very hard job.
Exactly correct.
Yeah.
And, of course, you also can run into a situation where certain jobs require certain levels of certification and ability, and So we actually
Or
only have
like
a limited number of people for certain levels.
A car comes in for an oil change. We run the VIN on every car, and most service departments should. And there's a recall, and the oil tech doesn't has qualified certification level. Now that has to go back in the shop, and then we have another delay.
Exactly. And certain recalls, we may only have 4 or 5 techs in the entire shop that can do it. And if 1 or 2 of those techs are off that day,
Yeah.
that can
Okay.
put a bottleneck.
Now, I'm going to jump in here. I'm going to wrap it up because everybody
Please.
wants to talk about it, but we're not going to talk about
We
it
have
anymore.
calls.
Okay. I'm going to say one more thing. The problem is not so much what happened; it's reality. You can't change the way cars are, and those things happen. But where dealers can improve is the communication between the technician, the service advisor, and the customer. When customers come in, the complaint I get is that no one told me that there was going to be a problem, and I've been here for 3 hours. They told me my car would be out in a half hour. Communication. Now we
Exactly
go to the
correct.
caller, to the caller.
Communication, very important. Hey, folks, I have some breaking news. It's good news. Now, listen closely. Auto prices finally begin to creep down. I'll get back with you on that later. We have 2 patient men who have been holding, and one is Mark, and we're going to take his call from Palm Beach Gardens. But, Marty, hang on, and we'll be right with you. Good morning, Mark.
Good morning, everyone. I trust everyone's doing fine this morning. I'll try to make this call brief. As some might recall, I called last week and talked about my misfortune of my 17 Camry XLE got involved in a severe car accident. And
Yes.
I felt as though my back was up against a wall. It's 2017 with 55,000 miles. All of a sudden, I had the feeling that, oh, well, boy, I'm really screwed on this. But anyway, I just wanted to get back with you and let you know that the insurance company, the responsible party's insurance company, because it was no fault of my daughter who was driving, but I don't know. This might be directed at Stu, ballpark figure, what a 2017 with 55,000 on it, an XLE model, what the ballpark is and what they're worth.
I wouldn't even
Anyway.
venture into that.
Yeah.
It's pretty. I think things are changing so much right now. Back in the old days, we used to call it the Obi-Wan Kenobi. You'd look at a car and you just knew what it was worth. Now we go to our resources and we see what it is, what the value is today.
Yeah.
And,
Anyway, I did some comparative research, and the insurance company was I think, very fair. I got 24.5 out of it.
Yeah.
And I did some looking around, and you've talked before about these used car. I kind of drove through your lot, kind of looking at the used cars, and unfortunately, I couldn't afford those prices. But anyway, I checked this Carvana site out, and I found some comparative models. I was going to take a step down to an LE. My kids wanted me to buy all sorts of other cars, but I said, nope, Toyota, and it has to be a Camry. Anyway,
Yes, Dad.
I found some at LE with that I felt as though that was kind of right there in the ballpark. But you know what surprised me? I went ahead and picked out a 2016 LE with comparable mileage on it. So I started the process, almost getting ready to buy it. And what surprised me, this vehicle is located in Miami. And in order to bring it up and deliver it to me, you know what? They wanted $1,000 extra to transport the vehicle to me.
Ridiculous.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, that blew me away. Now, being in the business, I know how much a tow bill would cost from Miami to Palm Beach. Even worst case scenario, $300, $325, something like that. But for them, it's almost kind of like a hidden fee.
Mm-hmm.
We talk about hidden fees.
Yeah.
To get the vehicle to you, $1,000. What ridiculous is that?
That's
So
like
anyway,
price gouging.
kind of assume the other sites are somewhat the same, but I've got to. Now, I know Carvana. What was the other sites you guys recommend to check online for used cars?
WeBuyAnyCar.com is
CarMax was the best one.
Yeah.
CarMax, okay. And one last question to Stu. 2016, between there was a transition or a rebuild or remake of the Camry. Did that occur
2014.
in 2016?
No, there was a 2014 Camry came out, and it was a brand new body style. It changed from the 2007 model, and then there was a 2014 and a half, which was really weird. They came out and had like a partial redesign, and then that changed again in 20. Rick, do you remember when the body style changed to the current? I think it was 2017.
Yeah, 17.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Is it 2016? Anyway, thank you for answering my calls, and I appreciate the advice. And Nancy or Earl, when you get a chance, could you pump up Earl's Vigilantes for me?
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
I'll do it. I'll do it right now.
You guys have a wonderful day. Thanks for the info and the conversation, and may God bless.
And thank you for asking about Camrys, because that's the only thing I know about.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
Everybody go out and vote on Tuesday, please.
Absolutely.
Thanks.
Absolutely.
Have a good weekend, gang.
Thanks so
Mark.
much, Mark. We love talking to you. And as Mark mentioned, Earl's Vigilantes, you can join up. Mark did. He is a huge part of Earl's Vigilantes. And you can help your neighbor. You can help so many different people by volunteering. And you don't have to know how to, disassemble an engine. You can help others in your neighborhood or anyone that you choose to. Earl'sVigilantes.com. And we have a hat that you can... How do you like my hat?
It's very, very nice. It's very stylish.
Yeah.
I could see that during Fashion Week in New York.
I think that Stu has made, he has done something magical again.
Well,
This is his hat.
and it's my brother's dog holding a red phone wearing a sheriff's hat.
At any rate, sign up for Earl's Vigilantes. You can go to Earl on Cars. Let's see what you look like in that with your new haircut. He's not up for it. Okay. We're going to go. Enough of this silliness. We're
If you
going to
want
have
to join
silliness.
if you
We're
want
going
to
to go
join
to
the
Marty.
Vigilantes, go to earloncars.com and you can click on Vigilantes. You fill in your information, contact information. Then other people that are looking for help in buying a car can go to your name based on your location. So we're trying to get vigilantes geographically around the whole country, and the more the merrier. So earloncars.com, click on vigilantes, and please give us your contact information, which means you volunteered.
Yeah. Thank you for reiterating. That was from the recovering car dealer. We're going to go to Marty in West Palm Beach. Good morning, Marty.
Good morning. How you doing?
We're well, thank you. Thanks for your patience.
Okay, I've got a question for Rick, but first I'll tell you that the model changed for Camry in 2018.
That's right.
That's right. Marty would know.
Because I'm a Camry
Right.
buyer. Okay, now I got to ask Rick about my problem I've got. On my car, on the screen, I can receive a call, I can receive a text. But when I hit the little microphone button on the steering wheel, it keeps telling me that it's loading my contacts or loading the phone book. I've tried to repair the car again with the phone. I've tried to do everything. I went on YouTube. I've tried to do everything. I can't get that button to work.
First thing I'd do is say you might want to stop in at the dealership and let us check and see if there's a radio update. We see so many cars that just a simple software update for the radio solves all those issues. And unfortunately, it's one that we actually have to download the update from our computer system onto a flash drive that we then install in the car, and it updates it.
Maybe Google knows.
Yeah, I did on Google, Earl, call, and I did what it says to do to make sure I put the phone book back into the system, and it didn't change anything.
Okay.
Yeah, I would check for a software update for the radio.
Okay, do I need an appointment for that?
It's best. It's best, yeah.
Okay, because I was going to drive over there today and see if
Yeah.
there was one of your guys that knew something quick.
It's just I'm going to vary a little bit on the subject because you bring up a very interesting point.
Updates.
One of the things that Tesla is way ahead on, and all the manufacturers will be getting into is over-the-air updates, where it'll be an automatic thing. Not a week goes by when I don't get an update of some kind on my Tesla. It's all automatic. I don't have to run into the dealership and worry about a bunch of service salesmen trying to sell me something I don't need. And it's very inconvenient to have to drive into a car dealership and wait an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours for something that could be done electronically in the cyberspace in 30 seconds, or maybe it might take 5 minutes. But software updates need to be automated for all manufacturers, and that's your problem, Marty. Now we're telling you, come into the dealership because you might need a software update. Well, the software update, in my opinion, should have been done, and you wouldn't even have made the call. So that's where we're going with science.
You should get in your car in the morning and it says your car has been updated.
Exactly. Yeah.
There you go.
Just like the Tesla.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, in the perfect
Okay, if
way.
I happen to call the dealership now and they
Yeah.
tell me there's an appointment available today,
Yeah,
can they
that's
do
right.
it? I mean,
And you can come in and wait for 3 or 4 hours, and we'll try to get to you.
can
We'll feed you well, keep you
I
caffeinated.
get,
We got a lot of bagels, though.
can I drive Earl's car home until it's ready?
Yes, you can.
Earl has an appointment this afternoon.
I
Sorry.
have complete control of the Tesla today, so you'll have to give me a call.
How about the Avalon? You got an extra
Okay.
Avalon hanging
Okay.
around?
I'll give up the Avalon.
The Avalon's getting no love.
Okay, let's get off the chit
All
chat.
right,
Okay.
all right. I'll have to call in and make an appointment.
Yep.
Okay.
Thanks,
the-
Marty.
You know, I can do it if I just go on my phone and say, Siri, call so and so. It'll still appear on my screen and everything.
Okay.
So it's definitely a software thing.
Sounds good. It was great hearing
All
from
right.
you.
Thank you again for all your help.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for staying in touch and calling Earl Stewart on cars. We have a few calls that are backed up, and we're going to go to Joe in Boynton, and we're going to. Oh, we have someone calling from Niagara Falls. Shay. Hold
Really?
on, Shay. We'll be with you. Joe, good morning.
Yeah, good morning.
Welcome.
Nice to talk to you. Hope everything's okay. I have a 2003 Lexus ES300, and it's only got 174,000 miles. And what's happened is I'm starting to get a leak in the transmission. So I'm wondering if it's worth doing anything with it. Just trying to get an opinion on this.
I would absolutely have it diagnosed. Transmission leaks are usually going to be a pretty simple thing for external leaks. It's usually either the axle seal or the transmission pan gasket. I would very quickly have that checked out, especially since a leak is only going to get worse and can cause damage inside the transmission by having a low fluid level. So
Right.
definitely worth getting it checked out. And it might be as simple as a $300-400 repair, and you're back on the road in a car that can resell for many, many thousands.
Right. What would that run to have it checked out, price-wise?
Most places would probably be about $100 to $150 for the inspection, and then usually that applies towards the repair if you have it done.
Right. Okay, because everything else works on it. The air conditioning works fine.
That's
and-
good news. I mean, it's a good thought, though. I mean, because you have a
should be
car
okay.
and if you're looking at a really expensive repair,
Yeah.
that's the thing you got to consider whether it's worth doing. But
Well, that's the thing, because you figure if you repair that for say a couple thousand,
Yeah.
The air conditioner goes.
Well, I was fully expecting to hear Rick say that's going to cost you a couple of $1,000s, but a couple of $100 ain't so bad.
Yeah, it's
Right,
good news, Joe. Not too long ago, I just spoke to someone that it cost him a whole lot more than what Rick just talked about. So you're in a good place. Thanks for the call, and I hope you give us a call back and update us.
Okay, thanks. Take care.
You too. Have a great weekend. Ladies, the first two new lady callers, you win yourself $50 this morning. Give us a call at 877-960-9960, or you can text us. For you others, you can text us at 772-497-6530. Don't forget youranonymousfeedback.com. We're going to go to our first time female caller, and that's Shay from Niagara Falls. Good morning.
Good morning.
And welcome. If you stay on the line when we're finished, you can talk to Jeremy in our control studio. He'll get your contact information and pass it along to me, and I'll send that check out to you.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Okay.
Welcome.
Let me ask you a question. Now, it might sound I'm new with driving and stuff like that. My granddad just gave me a car. It's an older Ford Taurus, but that's not really here or there. Yesterday when I was driving, somebody, I don't know if they threw something at the car or shot the window out, but the passenger side window just shattered and is now gone. Now, I put a garbage bag in there, just for yesterday, so if it rained last night, nothing got in the car. I'm wondering, because, I'm kind of low on money, can I go to a junkyard and see if I can find the same window? Like, is that something that I'd be able to do at a junkyard?
I think Rick can answer that question for you.
Yeah, you've actually got two economical routes for that. If you know somebody that's handy enough that they can pull the door panel apart to replace that glass panel, a junkyard's a great place to find glass. They quite often, the employees there will sometimes disassemble the cars to save the glass so that they can make sure that it doesn't get damaged while it's sitting out in the yard. Or you might even check eBay or some other option like that for car parts. A lot of junkyards and salvage yards.
Well, online is probably the way to go, right? I mean, you'd want to see where they were located, describe the year, make, model of a vehicle, which window it was, which door.
Absolutely.
And if you do all that, then they'll give you areas that you can go. They don't call them junkyards anymore, but it's
salvage yards.
Salvage, but it's very sophisticated. And most of them are online, and they have all their parts from just about any car you can imagine. Any part you can imagine is all online. The trick will be, hopefully, you can find one that's fairly near you in Niagara, and then make the visit.
Well, and also a lot of them also will advertise. They'll put those parts online on eBay to where you can simply order it and they can send it to you.
Yeah.
A lot of great advice,
awesome.
Shay.
I had no idea that you could do that. Okay, great.
Yeah.
It's amazing the sophistication of the availability of old parts. It's never been better thanks to computers and the internet. So I think you'll be pleasantly surprised. Your problem's going to be finding someone knowledgeable, because you don't want to spend a lot of money on this. Someone that can take a panel off a door and replace a glass. Finding someone that'll do that for you is going to be your problem. But I think you'll find the window pretty quick.
Yeah, absolutely.
And
I actually am lucky that a neighbor of mine tears cars apart and puts them back together and stuff like that, and he said he'd help me out if I got the glass.
Oh, there you go.
That'll be great.
And you have the power of the internet right in front of you.
Take down this website. Jonathan just sent me a link. It's the letter U, need, NEED, part. .com. And that's apparently, it's a link with several, multiple salvage yards, recycle yards, that they all advertise their parts right there, and you probably could find it in just a few minutes.
Wow, that's great. I had a pencil in my hand when you guys said that, so perfect. Thank you so much.
And that $50 will help you out, definitely.
You know what? It absolutely will. Thank you so much, guys.
And don't forget to stay on the line and talk to Jeremy.
I'm not going anywhere.
That's what I like to hear. Spread the word. We want to build a platform here for the ladies just like you, where you feel comfortable giving Earl Stewart on Cars a call.
Absolutely. Thank you guys so much.
You're welcome. Oh, we have to thank Jonathan, too. Boy, I'll tell you, what a team we have here. He was right on it. He had that site that you could go to. What was it? You
need a part, but it begins with the
.com.
letter U, and then
U.
needapart.com.
Oh, yeah.
You
I did
need
YOU.
a part.com 779609960, or you can text us at 772-497-6530. Don't forget, take advantage of youranonymousfeedback.com. Ladies, I have $50 more here for the next new female caller, because we give out $50 for the first two new female callers every Saturday morning. So take advantage of that. Which one, you or Rick? Do you have anything?
We're a little quiet right now on YouTube.
Okay, we'll go back to Stu.
I got stuff. I have a text from Gary. Gary says, well, Takata airbags are back in the news again, but people don't realize it's the old Takata airbag that was replaced with the new Takata airbag, and now the new Takata airbags are old, so here we go again. We knew this was happening. I know that was pretty much across all manufacturers. That was the only available airbag to replace it, so they said, well, we better just put a fresh one in and reset the clock. But I'm assuming that all of those are going to get fresh notifications, and 25% of them will respond. Am I right?
Yeah, that's it. That's
what-
that, yeah.
That's what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Well, I think what was happening when they were replacing them, they were doing these new airbags to reset the clock, and they were hoping that a large number of those vehicles
Blow up.
getting older would wind up going to the salvage yards.
Right.
And a lot of that didn't happen. And
Yeah.
especially with the COVID situation,
Everything changed.
a lot of those older cars were getting fixed because
There's no
new
cars.
cars weren't available. So
Yeah.
Wow. It's these
A good
two
point.
seismic changes in the industry, two things are just kind of coming together. It's just like, it's crazy how things are connected like
and
that.
the average age of cars on the road
Keeps getting
got
up.
older instead of getting newer,
Yeah.
like has been happening in the past several years.
Absolutely.
They didn't think of everything, did they?
Nope.
We're going to interrupt Stu, and we're going to go back to the phones where Frank's holding from Jupiter Farms.
Well, good morning to you guys.
Good morning.
It's Frank.
Hi, Frank.
So,
How are you, Frank?
wonderful. Thank you for asking. I appreciate it. And I listened to one guy saying that he was going to get a car delivered from Miami for $1,000. Well, here's another option that people could think of if they need to get to Miami. Just go down to the Tri-Rail station, get on the Tri-Rail for a couple bucks, get down to Miami, and if you need to, they could probably pick you up or take Uber for a few dollars, and you'll save a whole lot more than having it
Good idea.
towed up here.
Yeah, I mean,
Just a
especially
thought.
Miami, yeah.
Or Brightline, get there even faster.
Very fast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if we have current statistics on this, but we started seeing this when the prices started going crazy. You've cited this before. The average distance traveled by used car buyer got really, really big, and people were willing to drive thousands of miles across the country to pick up used cars if they found a price that was good. So Miami doesn't sound so bad. And for people out of our area, Miami is about an hour and a half, 2 hour drive from where we are right now.
Yeah, I went down there last weekend for an art show, and I grew up in Miami, and every time I go back to Miami, which is very sporadic now, I'm so thankful that I'm here in Jupiter as opposed to down there. It has changed so drastically.
Very
But-
congested, very crazy.
Yeah.
Did you check the new Wynwood area, though? I mean, the refurbished Wynwood area?
No, I haven't.
It's pretty cool. They have a nice revitalized arts district. It's very colorful and very Miami-ish. Check it out.
Yeah, this was on Miracle Mile, I believe.
Oh, yeah.
But anyway, one other thing last week, it was also listening to your show brings it back memories from my car days. When I was pumping gas for 75 cents an hour, so you can tell that was a long time ago. But the hydrometer with the batteries, I haven't seen or heard of those for so long. I said that was kind of cool, and someone mentioned that last week. So anyway,
Interesting.
With that, I'll let you guys get back. We do enjoy your show, and thank you for
Thank you, Frank.
Thank you, Frank.
Have a nice day.
Give us a
Bye-bye.
call. Give us a call again. We're going to go to Warren, who's holding from New Jersey. Good morning, Warren.
Good morning, guys. How are you today?
Great. How are you?
Well, we got great. I want to follow up. Last week I called and I talked about I had this great experience at the Mazda dealer, and I'm going to be brief because I went to a couple other dealers. I went to Toyota and I went to Nissan and I went to Honda. Toyota up here didn't have any cars, basically, and all they wanted you to do was order one. So I moved on to Nissan and to Honda, and both pulled the same shtick. What it was when I went to Nissan, and I don't have to give you the make or model, but I'll just be quick. They had the cars they had in stock were all loaded. They had every gizmo on the car, Apple Play and Display and all that kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. So when it came time to looking at the sticker, I looked at the sticker. One of the cars was about $37,000, and the guy said to me, "Well, you have to add $5,000 onto that." So I said, "Well, no way, Jose, am I going to do that?" So he said, "Then you can't get the car." So I said, "Okay." I said, "Thank you," and I started to leave. Then he comes back to me and says, "Oh, well, what would you give me over sticker?" I said, "Nothing, absolutely nothing." And he says, "Well," he says, he goes, well, let me see if you're really interested. We could talk to the manager. I said, "Well, look, I want to look at other cars." Then I went to the Honda place. I swear to God, he gave me the exact same thing as the one in the Nissan. Like they talked to each other. It was unbelievable. They had a couple of cars there, all loaded to the gills. A couple of Accords, all loaded to the gills. And when it came time to negotiate, he said $5,000 over sticker. So I said, "I'm not interested." So he said, "Well, what would make you happy?" I said, "If I was going to do it, it'd be sticker." So he disappeared, and the sales manager comes out about 10 minutes later. I didn't want to walk out, but I figured, look, give him the courtesy. He spent some time with me.
Yeah.
Sales manager comes out, sits at the desk, and is pounding away, and keeps saying to me, "Well, if you do, give me $3,000." Finally, he got to the point. He said, "If you buy it today, I'll give it to you at sticker." So I said, "I'm not buying today. So finally he said to me, "It's the deal of the century." So I said, "Well, I'll have to wait till the next century then. What could I do?"
I like your style, Warren. Did you say to them, "Hey, we can do this the easy way or the hard way"?
I just said, I just said, the bottom line was that, he was pounding on the desk, and, if you get it today, you get it today. And it was just amazing that both the Honda and the Nissan dealer were exactly the same, with the $5,000 over. But they immediately, they were going to go right down to sticker. And the Toyota dealer, I will say, with the two of them, they had very few cars. They said, "If you order it, we'll get you close to the sticker as possible." But they had very little in stock. They had used ones, and they want you to order it. And I'm not into that ordering thing as of yet, maybe in the future. But I just wanted to tell you that's the shtick up here.
Yeah.
Wow.
$5,000 over, and then, maybe people are dumb enough to just give it to them.
Yeah.
I don't know. But maybe they figure they could, if they say 4,000 over, 3,000, you're getting a bargain. But
Exactly.
that's the idea. And both of them said the exact same thing.
Not you, Warren. Not today.
And the dealer's
You're an
making
educated consumer.
The dealer's making a ton of money at sticker anyway.
They both ran after me. So I just wanted to let you know that's the shtick up here now.
Uh-huh.
That's good
Thanks
to know.
so much, Warren. Stay in touch with us. We love talking to you.
Okay, guys. Have a good day. Talk to
Thank
you
you.
later.
Have a great weekend. 877-960-9960, or you can text us at 772-497-6530. And don't forget, youranonymousfeedback.com. I'm going to talk for a moment about Earl's book, and that's Confessions of a Recovering Car Dealer. And you definitely can still purchase this on Amazon. And all proceeds goes to Big Dog Ranch.
That was a terrible one.
And that dog is waiting
Dog's got
for
a
you.
cold.
Do it again. Much better.
That's live, right here. Okay, what'd you think of that, Jonathan? I think Jonathan's going to take his headphones off. Okay, so take advantage of that. On a more serious note, go to Amazon, purchase a Confessions of a Recovering Car Dealer, and you can look very soon for Earl's book that he's writing, Redemptions of a Recovering Car Dealer. It's going to be phenomenal. Now back to Stu.
Sure. We have anonymous feedback over here. Says, what are your thoughts on buying a vehicle service contract at the dealership when I buy my new car next year? It will be a Toyota base model Camry hybrid, expect to own for 10 years and put on less than 10,000 miles a year. And there's a lot of difference on specific pricing on like how much did you pay for a really extensive comprehensive warranty and all that. But I'd like to get that to you because it's a common question that we have, and you definitely have an opinion on this.
Yeah, it's if you're going to buy an extended warranty, I recommend you buy the manufacturer's extended warranty. A lot of dealers, us included, we have our own warranty company with our own warranties. The other big thing is consider the car you're going to buy. If you're buying a good quality car like a Toyota or a Honda, or there's a huge number. Look at Consumer Reports. When you're buying cars today and you buy a quality car, you don't need an extended service contract. So I always say to people, because people want that peace of mind. I mean, a lot of people buy more insurance than they need because they have the peace of mind. They know if something should happen, which it probably won't, they can sleep at night. So if you want the peace of mind, buy the manufacturer's extended contract and then read it carefully to be sure what it does cover and what it does not cover. But I would, to be perfectly frugal about it, I wouldn't buy the contract. I would put, if your monthly payment on the contract was $50 or $100, I'd put it in the bank and save it and bank it. And then if you had a problem with the car, draw from your bank account. Self-insure. I don't think you need to insure your car if you buy a quality car.
And there is a follow-up on that. It says, I would like to hear what Rick thinks from a master technician's perspective, given the complexity of newer cars.
Camry Hybrid's a tested, tried and true model. Granted, for the first couple generations with the Prius, we were doing a lot of the HV batteries replacements. But Camrys and Avalons and the Highlander, very, very few. I think one of the issues is they developed a cooling system for the cooling fans better on them.
You're getting into Toyotas, and I understand that.
Other hybrids, I mean, there are hybrids all across the board now. Every manufacturer has several models of hybrid, and now they're all coming with electrics as well. But the choice you made of a Camry hybrid is a great car. I would comfortably compare it to any of the Honda hybrids, although they're fantastic cars as well.
Mm-hmm. Also, just a real quick note on pricing on those warranties. If you're in Florida and some other states, those warranties are considered insurance products, and they're regulated by the state, which means it's a one price. And by law, they can present a price. They can't increase it or discount it. And so these prices are going to vary greatly by dealer, and the pricings are set by the warranty companies. You
stated it exactly correctly, but to me it's still misleading. I mean, the only thing the state insurance commission's office does is say, how much do you want to charge? And if the dealer says, I want to charge $1 million for this warranty,
well, the warranty company, not every dealer owns their own warranty company.
Well, no, but if the warranty company, if it's a dealer owned or not dealer owned, most large dealers own their own warranty companies, and they go to the state of Florida, they say, I want this to be posted and registered. They say, okay, how much do you want to charge? You can charge $1 million for a warranty. So all it means is you can't charge more than $1 million.
Right. Well,
so
dealers try to keep it, within the pocket of the market.
Most insurance products, when you say they're registered with the state, that means the state says this is a legitimate product, but the state does not make it legitimate. They just say you can't change the price.
But that's the same with all one pricing at anywhere in any store in any dealership anywhere. They set the price.
Yeah.
So, but they do vary in price. So when you ask what a good price is, it's kind of hard to kind of judge on that because it is all over the place. We were just looking at F&I reports recently, where on like the profits that we were seeing on average or dealers are making are huge on extended service contracts.
This is inside stuff, maybe not interesting to our listeners, but a lot of dealers where they don't have the fixed price, They do vary the price. So you come in, and you say, oh, you want a warranty. They sell you a warranty for $1,000, $2,000.
In California, for example, you go to California.
It used to be. I don't know the California.
It's not regulated. Well, unless something changed in the last year. But you go in there, and it's just like buying a car. You start all over again.
Yeah.
And it's if I get you the right price on this warranty, would you buy it today? Same type
You
of
know,
thing.
as a sidebar, Consumer Report is really a great place to go, and you could find out all the information that you need on electric cars, tires, insurance, the best cars to buy right now. So take advantage of that. You can go to consumerreport.org and get your information. We're going to go back to the phones where we have Ellen holding. She is a first-time caller.
And you know her very well.
Yes. We are going to, she's from Jupiter. Good morning, Ellen.
Good morning. Good to talk to you, Nancy.
It's nice to hear your voice, Ellen. If you stay on the line, you can speak to
Yes.
Jeremy in our control room, and he'll get your contact information. He'll send it along to me, and I'll get that check out to you
think you already
after
have
we're
it.
done talking.
Oh, I didn't know about the check. That's great. I wanted to thank you guys because I just got my car serviced at Earl Stewart Toyota, and Randy Deppen has to be one of the nicest guys, my service advisor. He is,
Yes.
you know, when you go in as a single woman, I am not somebody that always checks my tire pressure and everything else. He is so not judgy. He's just a kind person who is not intimidating and doesn't make me feel like, oh, you don't know anything about cars, you're not taking care of my cars. So he's great. And another shout out to Daniel Trapp in the body shop because I had this dent that I've been driving around with. And again, easy, nice, such friendly, and just a good crew you've got.
You know, that's,
Congratulations.
I'm really
Thanks,
glad.
Alan.
I'm really glad to hear what you had to say. And these trips can be very condescending for women.
Yeah.
They can be very intimidating, even if you know something, because not everyone has got the memo. And I have said this to you before, in the 21st century, there are car dealerships out there that are still doing business the same way. And, you know, they may not say it, but they're wondering if your makeup mirror is working properly. You know, and that sounds funny, but it's so true. So, Ellen, I can't thank you enough for sharing with our huge audience your intake.
I just feel so comfortable when I go there, and you know, it's strange that I would even have those feelings, but it's over a lifetime of, you know, going into the muffler shop or going here or going there, and they just kind of look down on you like, what's it now, honey? You know, so
Yeah.
I never get that runaround at all from
Honey.
anybody at Earl Stewart Toyota. It's just such a pleasure.
Maybe we should give her $200.
Honey,
I
honey
also
is
had
the
a question,
operative
if you
word,
don't mind.
and it's used often. And
Yeah.
what you
Yeah.
said, you know, it's sort of unusual because you've been going in to have your car serviced. You've been going into car dealerships. You'd think that was like old school. But guess what,
You'd think it
Ellen?
was
What makes it difficult is it's learned behavior. It's learned
you're right,
behavior, and that says it all. So we
You're
have
right,
to.
You're right.
Yeah, we have to stay on our toes, and we have to, as I always say, that I don't have a problem with, let your voice be heard.
I have a quick question, if you don't mind, a car question.
Not all.
I about once or twice a week, I drive up to my Stewart office, which is on US 1. I'm very near US 1 in Jupiter. But there's a lot of stop-and-go traffic lights, traffic, et cetera, and I'm wondering if it's better to go that way or if it's better for the car to actually put on a few more miles, go west to 95, and then drive on the highway and then east to US 1 because there's a lot of stop-and-go traffic wear on the brakes or the engine or anything like that.
Highway miles are always the better option, except with a hybrid car, where the fuel economy can be better in the stop-and-go traffic. But yeah, when you've got stop-and-go, you're constantly on the brakes. It's changing the speed of the tires, which is going to increase the wear on the tires. You're sitting at traffic lights idling, which is using up extra fuel. Whereas highway miles, drive gently and just try to stay with the flow of traffic, and you'll get much better wear from the tires, better brake life, better fuel economy, and it just is better all the way around for the car.
I'm so happy to hear that. Thank you so much. And thanks, guys. You are just a wonderful team. Thank you all for your help. I appreciate it.
You're welcome,
Take care.
Ellen.
Thanks, Ellen.
It was a pleasure.
Take care.
877.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. 877-960-9960. As I said earlier, you can text us also at 772-497-6530. Again, youranonymousfeedback.com.
You know, riding on Ellen's
We're gonna
question
go to-
about that, a car and driving in the city or on the I-95, an all-electric vehicle, actually, you have your cake and eat it too, because with my Tesla, I marvel at the fact I don't ever use a brake. So when I take my foot off the accelerator, it's still the same braking action, which is inducing
electromotive drag.
Exactly. So I'm charging my electric battery just by taking my foot off the accelerator. So actually, an electric vehicle does better when you're driving around town.
It does.
Yeah.
Yep.
And
So
you
many
don't-
benefits.
And you have no brake wear whatsoever because you don't use the brakes.
Yeah, so many benefits. I love my electrons. I have to announce to the audience that my driving, well, my privileges have been revoked from the Tesla.
Really?
Because I
In the last 5 minutes?
drove erratically.
Oh, and you ruined the score? Are you still chasing that score? You chasing the 100?
She holds the lowest score ever recorded.
I was 100
on my Tesla.
forever.
Lower than Haywood?
Oh, yeah, much lower.
We're talking big time.
Haywood, if you're listening, sorry about that.
I was a wildcat.
And I was nervous when I had to do the tire on it recently and took it out for a test drive. And I'm like, going along the back road at 20 miles an hour, super gentle, because I didn't want to mess up Earl's score.
You have to focus. You know, really have to focus. And I'm so scarred from
For
all the
people who have
focusing.
no idea what we're
The
talking about,
score-
Tesla has a software program that measures the driver's abilities and safety. And if you hit a certain safety score, 100 actually, for 30 days, then the car can go in full autonomy, totally autonomous. And to get to 100 on your Tesla is a real challenge, especially in South Florida, especially during rush hour. So I finally just said to hell with it, let Nancy drive the car. And
Yeah, and I was achieving such a high score, but at any rate, the other morning I got in the car. I was in a hurry. I wasn't focused, and you really have to focus most on the accelerator. It's a great car to drive, and the yoke was slipping out of my hand and all kind of other things. But I'm going to be right back on track, and I'm going to be focused and behind the yoke very soon. We are going to go to our next caller, which is... Hello? Is it Phil? Phil, are you calling
Yeah.
us from Jupiter?
Yes, I sure am.
Okay. Good morning.
Good. How you all doing this morning?
We're great.
Yeah, I just wanted to ask you. I was on some of the car sites, and it looks like Toyota is going to completely change the Prius for 2023. And I just asked, do y'all know anything about that? I mean, is it going to be a completely new car this time?
Well, they don't give a lot of information to the dealers about the future vehicles. They will preview them at the dealer show, at the car shows, and then there's a big dealer show. There was one last month in Las Vegas, the big Toyota meeting. We didn't go, and I don't know if they previewed that or not. I know that Toyota is also kind of relooking at their whole EV strategy. That I think they're acknowledging now that they were slow into the game and kind of hedging their bets with some hydrogen and hybrids. And so they're even considering, and this is on the down low on anonymous service, they're reconsidering the TNGA platform, which is the new platform that they designed for all of their cars and trucks not trucks, but the cars for the hybrid and electrified versions, and they're reconsidering that to look at all electric harder. So don't really have a lot of information on what the new Prius is going to look like, or but Rick is on Google looking at all the industry stuff.
yeah, you can see a YouTube big update, the all-new 2023 Toyota Prius Plus. They have a YouTube video. It's 11 minutes and 53 seconds, so probably quite a bit of information that we were unable to give you. But yeah, as I say, if you or I don't know the answer, Dr. Google does. So give it a try.
Okay. So
I just pulled up.
At what point would I be able to order one of these things? I mean,
You would
I
need
guess
to do it now if you're looking like at our dealership, since we're doing orders and not going over MSRP. I would definitely get in touch now and just put in an order now, because right now hybrids are taking longer than other vehicles. And for example, like a RAV4 hybrid's taking a year and a half right now to get in, and a regular Prius is not as long, but definitely want to start earlier. And then if things speed up in inventory, things change, everything's going to come in quick, and you won't have to wait that long. But just to be sure, I would get started soon.
Would I ask for somebody in particular when I came into the dealership to do that?
You can ask to speak to just a sales manager and these salespeople. There's it's just one price, and you just got to put in an order, and that's refundable deposit if you change your mind for any reason.
Yeah, I've got a Prius now I've had for quite a while, and I love those cars. But I would go with the Prime this time.
Oh, I'm sorry. The Prime, it takes even longer. So today, but seriously,
Okay.
Because a Prius Prime is taking. We don't know. They produce so little of them, and it's a year and a half longer.
You might be able to get one for 2027.
Rick's not kidding. I mean, it could possibly be the next model year. So that's a real possibility.
Okay. All right. Well, thanks for the information.
You got it.
You're welcome, Phil. Give us a call again. Our number here is 877-960-9960. Give us a call if you have a question or if you have a suggestion. Rick, were you going to say something?
Hey, Earl, Johnny Z. Fradley popped in on YouTube. He says, I thought Elon opened full self-drive to everyone, no matter their score.
No, I wish you would.
Still hasn't yet? No.
Now, there are different levels. I think that they use different score levels in different parts of the country, where in this area, it's still 100 for 30 days. And I've heard that they've lowered it to 99 or 98 in some areas, but it will be open to everybody at some point. They have a new generation autonomous that they are still test driving, and they're getting toward the end of that test drive, I hope, at which point they will open up autonomy for everybody.
What was our highest score between the two of us?
Well, you get 100. That's what you should get.
So we did.
Yeah, you can get 100.
Because I wasn't keeping track of it.
Yeah.
Have you ever ridden in a completely autonomous vehicle?
No.
Not yet.
I'm going to.
Really?
Are you?
In Port St. Lucie, there is an area called Traditions, a new housing area, that they have these, they're shuttle buses, and it's called Traditions in Motion.
Yeah.
And I'm actually planning, I'm going to get up there in the next few days, and it literally, they have various stops they stop at. You get on board the shuttle.
Yeah, but
there's no driver. There's no controls.
Yeah, but it's not in traffic. It doesn't have it's a planned route.
It's a planned route, yes, going through several shopping centers with other cars on the road, other vehicles around it. I mean, it's a small step, but
yeah.
Hey, as the man once said, a journey of 1,000 miles starts with but a single step.
There you go.
And
Okay.
I want to go ride on one just for the fun of it. I'm going to do that.
It'll be pretty exciting. We're going to go to our next caller, and that's Bennett, who's calling us from West Palm Beach. Welcome back, Bennett.
Okay, guys. Good morning.
Good morning.
A couple of questions, please. On the extended warranty, is it okay if you believe in them to purchase one, but to wait, say, like before the extended warranty is over on the new car, like at 30 months instead of 36? It's okay to purchase.
Later, you mean later on after like drive it through the factory warranty and then purchase?
Yeah, about
Yes.
6 months before.
Yes, you
is
can,
that okay
but
to do that?
you can do that, and you can purchase a warranty later. But now at this point, you're buying an extended service contract on a used car now, and they are a lot more expensive than a new car just because they have miles and they've been driven. So you can do that. It just costs more.
Yeah, because they'll tell you if you bring it up at the F&I that it'll cost you less now to put it in with your monthly payments.
Well, that's true but they're trying to. That's a sales tactic to make it seem nice and easy, not as expensive as it is. And sure, it is easy but you could take anything, spend a lot of money. You don't necessarily need to spend that money. It might make not a big impact on the monthly payment, but you're still over time paying the $1,700, $2,000 for that warranty. Obviously, you know that, but
you don't think it's a bad idea to purchase it at 30 months?
It depends. Like a used car extended warranty can be very expensive. So you might be looking at a $1,500 warranty when it was brand new and a $3,000 warranty.
If you buy a good car and you take care of it, if you do all the factory recommended maintenance, you don't need an extended warranty.
Okay, now, very good. Now, with the holidays approaching, do you think there'll be sales on vehicles? My wife and I are interested in getting a new car. We're looking into the Highlander. My concern is, I'm sure it's a really good car, is that they changed the Highlander's engine from a 3.56 to a turbo.
Right.
Can Rick explain the difference, if there is any?
There's really not a whole lot of difference, except by switching to the turbo, they're trying to get a tighter power band on the engine to get better fuel economy while still providing you the amount of power to get the car moving and running properly. It's to satisfy that need for speed, the need for power, but at the same time, decreasing fuel or increasing your fuel economy and decreasing the emissions.
Because I'm torn between getting the 22 or the 23, and I'm just a big fan of the V6 3.5 because I don't know about the turbo engine. Is it much less power, the turbos, and more fuel economy? Is that it?
It's actually, they're trying to get the same amount of power out of a smaller engine by getting the turbo on it, but also increasing the fuel economy from the 4-cylinder and making it way above the 6-cylinder. As a matter of fact, Toyota has done away with all of their V8s in the trucks, and they're going down to a turbo V6 in the trucks.
Okay. Now, markups on vehicles. Mm-hmm. How do you know if there's a markup on a new car? That's
a great question, because we've seen, we talk about addendum stickers all the time. So in a lot of cases, the dealers will stick a little decal next to the Monroney label with all their add-ons. But we've seen it where that's not on the car at all. And then when you get into the actual write-up of the deal, they add all that stuff on there. So you're going to find out either if you look at the car or when they write up the numbers for you, where you're not going to find it, you're not going to see it online. You're never going to see an addendum online. They're advertising this stuff. It's always going to be a surprise either on the lot or at the desk.
Yeah, there are three ways that they get you, Ben. If they get you on dealer-installed accessories, these are nonsensical, very low-cost, very high-margin markup for the dealer. They get you on the hidden fees and, of course, the addendum label. So the MSRP is just a guideline now, because the average price, it's coming down. The average price I read the other day in Automotive News is only $1,000 over a sticker. So it's a good time to start looking. But the MSRP, the addendum, and then you've also got the dealer install accessories and the hidden fees. Hidden fees can be $1,000, $3,000. Addendum could be $3,000. So it's just it's a minefield. The only thing that's going to keep you safe is competitive shopping. And if you get 3, 4, 5, 6, as many competitive prices on the exact same vehicle, then that keeps the price down to the minimum.
So I called your place up, and I think her name was Marjorie, and I told her the same thing I'm talking to you about. Mm-hmm. And she told me that you guys have absolutely no cars on your lot. Right. No Highlanders, anyway.
Right.
So for me to test drive, is that true?
That's correct.
Yeah, the problem is because we don't mark up the cars. We don't have addendums. We're selling every vehicle at MSRP. That happens to be the lowest price for Toyota in the USA now. So we have 2,000 or 3,000 cars on order and 0 cars on the lot. Unfortunately, if you want to get a specific model from us and you really are hung up on color and equipment and a lot of other stuff, it could take months and months.
Sienna's going to be a year about.
Yeah, it could be a year. So that's what happened. I mean, it's good news and bad news. The lowest price, but we don't have the cars. You go to a Toyota dealer that has cars on the lot, or Honda, or anybody, you're going to pay a lot more money. That's the reason they're on the lot in the first place, because they're charging thousands over sticker. And then you go in there and you negotiate, and you'll have a better selection. Not a great selection, but better than we have. We have no selection.
Now, the other car that I was interested in, other than the Highlander, was the Verando. Am I saying that right?
The Venza?
Venza. You're right. I'm sorry. Venza. Now, those cars are difficult to get.
Yes.
My wife and I were talking about hybrid in the beginning, but we don't drive a lot. So we're just going to stick with the combustion engine. Do they come in a combustion engine?
No, the
Venza?
Venzas are all hybrid.
All hybrid.
Yeah.
And again, with the holidays coming up, are there going to be? Do you think there'll be sales?
Not with Toyota, or probably. Well, actually, that's not true. We did see the other week there was an American car that had a $1,200 rebate. You're not going to see that on any Toyotas or Hondas or most of the Japanese imports. We just got the our annual Toyotathon sale. That's the Toyota big event nationwide, where it's usually where they unveil a whole bunch of great cash incentives. And this year we have there's some special APR rates on some vehicles. No real cash incentives. They usually double lease loyalty rebates, and they're not doing that this year. And there really isn't a reason to do that. When there's not a lot of cars to sell, there's not a whole lot of reason to incentivize them.
So when you see a car manufacturer like a Toyotathon, that goes to all car dealers, that they have to, they all have to do the same on the Toyotathon.
If there's
pricing.
No, Toyota doesn't control the pricing. All Toyota does is offer cash incentives or lease incentives or finance, like APR incentives. So if there is a cash incentive from a Toyota, that is it's called, there isn't any right now anyway, but it's dealer cash, and the dealer can decide whether he wants to include it in the pricing or keep it himself. And so even if there wasn't a dealer cash right now, I promise you all the dealers would keep that. And as far as lease specials, I'll give you here's an important thing to know. There's the regional advertising. You've seen it. Ford does it. Honda does it. You'll see these commercials, and they're very specific to South Florida or the area that you live in. And if they advertise lease specials, you'll see these things. They're almost as bad as dealer ads, and there's so much fine print in it. And right now, I'll tell you, Southeast Toyota is sending out lease specials that not one dealer in their entire distributorship is going to honor, because it requires selling the car for about $3,000 off MSRP. And we're not even going to do that. So if you see these lease ads, they're just it's an annual event. They're going to do it all the time, but they're not going to be honored no matter where you go. And in the fine print, it says they don't have to honor it.
Because right now they're only doing the financing
Right.
if you have a good credit score, 1.9 or 2.9.
Yeah.
If I went down to your place, is there a Highlander that we could test drive or no?
If there was, it would be on the used car lot, and so you could check down there. But there isn't really there's nothing there to drive.
Yeah. All right. Thank you so much, guys.
You got it.
Thank you.
All right.
We're going to go to Lake Park, where Bob has been holding. Thanks for your patience, Bob.
Good morning. How is everyone today?
We're well, thank you. Welcome.
Good. Thank you. I wanted to tell Earl, I got an email from CarMax, and they've actually raised their offer to me for my Mustang from 17 to 17.8.
Huh.
And I was wondering, because you had said that the used car market was starting to soften, And do you think this is because of the storm over there on the West Coast that they need cars?
Now, CarMax has got a very honest way of pricing offers to buy used cars. It's a software program that determines how badly CarMax needs your car. And they have a huge dealer inventory. They're all over the United States, nationwide, hundreds and hundreds of locations. So if they have a shortage of something like you're driving, they'll pay you more for it, maybe than Manheim or any other dealer would. On the other hand, if they have too many of the particular vehicle you're driving, they'll offer you less than everybody else. So it's a great place to check, because sometimes CarMax will pay you way more than you can get from anybody else, but the other half of that coin is they can pay you way less. Always include CarMax in when you're getting prices on your car. You can go to Vroom, you can go to We Buy Any Car, you can go to Carvana, but CarMax is a must.
Yeah, I was just surprised that they actually raised.
Yeah. It's an honest. It's not a bait and switch. They mean it. So if
I have a question.
Go ahead.
I have a question. Rick, if he has a second. I'm throwing a circuit code on the evap purge valve solenoid, and I wanted to know. I can test the hot wire with a test light, but the ground wire gets the signal from the. It's computer controlled. Is there a way of testing that without an advanced scanner?
Not really on the ground side, because the computer's going to control that to turn the solenoid on and off. You say you're getting an issue with the purge valve?
It's a circuit code. It's thrown. The check engine light is throwing a circuit code. The valve, I don't know if the valve is good or not. I put that valve in back 7 months ago. I wasn't throwing a light at the time, but the car, when you filled the car all the way up to the top, it idled a little rough, and I did my due diligence. I found on the Mustang YouTube that some of the other people had changed that part out, and I did, and it's been fine for 7 months. But now it's throwing a code, and I just want to make sure it's not the wiring, and it's probably the part. Because I bought it off-market part from Amazon. Mm-hmm. I didn't buy the Ford OEM part because it was half the price.
Well, when you say filling the tank all the way up, were you filling it all the way to the top of the tube?
Well, I don't know. I don't have, like I said, the Fords don't have gas caps. I told you that last week.
Right.
They haven't used gas caps. By the way, I checked that out. They haven't used a gas cap in 15 years.
Well,
they have that different system of closing the gas cap.
One issue that can go across the board on cars, though, if you're filling the tank and when it gets to the first spot where it clicks off, if you keep filling after that, there's a chance you're getting liquid fuel into the charcoal canister, and then when you start the car up and it goes to purge the vapors from the charcoal canister, it's getting liquid fuel coming up and going through that purge valve and going in the engine, and that can make the car run rough because it's running too rich then. So what I would do first off,
ever since I replaced the part, the car runs great. It still runs great. There's no issues with the running of the car. It's just throwing that code. And so, what type of scanner would I need to get to send the computer a message that
you need something pretty extensive. I would do it the old shade tree method. I would simply take two jumper wires, one to the one side of the terminal, one to the other, figure out which one's your positive, and just touch it to the battery, and your purge valve should click when it opens. And one with it's closed, it should not let air blow through it. And when you connect it to the battery, it should open the purge valve and let you blow air through it.
Right. Well, it's not a vacuum issue. It's throwing a circuit code, so it's electrical.
Right. Well, if you can test the valve itself that way. And if the valve is good, then it's got to be the wiring or the computer.
Right. All right. So do it so just test both ends of the valve itself.
Right.
Positive. Okay. All right. Well, thank you very much, and you guys have a great day. And I want one other thing, Earl. There's a couple of Genesis dealers. I don't know if you ever shopped them before or not, but there's one, Coconut Creek Genesis.
Yeah, we should do that.
They're charging on their website pre-delivery service charge. just under $1,000.
Yeah.
What would that be?
Yeah. Yeah, that's Genesis is a good car from what I understand. I actually, you it's a luxury car at considerably less than a Lexus cost. So I believe it's got a pretty good rating in Consumer Reports too. So
It does.
we'll definitely have to.
I was just wondering about this pre-delivery service charge.
Well, that's the pre-delivery is BS. It's yeah, it's anything they can come up with. Anytime you have a hot car and you have too many buyers and too few cars, this is what happens. So
right.
You're just going to pay through the nose.
I also looked at Lehman Genesis on their website. At least they tell you, that vehicles have addendums on. They don't say how much the addendums were, but it was mentioned on their website along with the dealer fee and everything. So they were telling you, before you shop that you're going to encounter these things.
Yeah, I guess it's some sort of consolation, but it is definitely a bunch of hocus pocus. So, Bob, thank you so much for your call.
Thank you. And you guys have a great weekend.
Thank you.
Give us a call again. I'm going to give this website out that Earl wrote about in his column, and it's how to know if a Florida car dealer is breaking the law. You can go to www.floridalawprotectingcarbuyers.com. Go there, and if you didn't write that down, you can go to Earl on Cars and get all the information that we announce on Earl Stewart on Cars. Earl?
Yeah, I wanted to, I almost forgot to mention, you've heard, if you listen to the show regularly, you've heard Jeff Weinseer's name mentioned. Jeff Weinseer is the investigative reporter for WPLG, Channel 10, Fort Lauderdale, Miami area. Great TV station. I say great TV station because they've got the courage to speak up about car dealers. Car dealers do a lot of advertising on TV, and most of the TV channels that we watch nationwide, I would say, are afraid to attack local dealers. They don't like to offend someone that spends millions of dollars with them in advertising. So Jeff Weinseer, investigative reporter, has called me a couple times. He's read some of my blogs and listened to the show. He called me 2 days ago to let me know that he had finally cornered Ashley Moody. He snuck up on her while she was in Fort Lauderdale and asked her about why she has not filed any actions, any control, any regulation on car dealers. And she kind of hummed and said, well, actually, we do have an investigation going on now, but I can't talk about it because it's an ongoing investigation. And then he asked her, is it true, and he knew it was true because he'd already checked it, that 81 Florida car dealers had donated over $161,000 to the Ashley Moody for Attorney General campaign for Attorney General. I mean, that's now beyond that, and I did a little investigation myself, a lot of car dealers have donated to Ashley Moody's campaign in their personal names, their wives, their daughters, their sons. There's a lot of contributions. So there's also the Political Action Committee. So the bottom line is we finally have contact between Jeff Weinseer, WPLG investigative reporter, and Ashley Moody. Now, we're right up on top of the elections, so I guarantee you there won't be any more conversations until after she gets elected. It's a foregone conclusion Ashley Moody will get elected because she's got all the money and all the advertising to get reelected, and she got a big chunk of that from the car dealers and their associations. So at any rate, I just thought you'd like to know we have one honest journalist, one journalist true to the journalistic ethics in Fort Lauderdale. His name is Jeff Weinseer, and I'm going to give you his number if you want to call him, if you have a story you'd like to share with him about an experience with a car dealer or with Ashley Moody or anybody else. His cell phone number is 954-364-2823. That's area code 954-364-2823. Jeff Weinseer, WPLG. And if you're down in the South Florida area, tune them in. They are an honest station. The editors don't editorialize the honest reporting of their reporters like Jeff Wines here. And share your stories with Jeff. And if it's worthwhile, he'll investigate. And when he investigates, the car dealer's attention is gotten. And Ashley Moody attention was gotten the other day, too. So I had to mention that before we run out of time.
It's not breaking news to hear about the contributions that were made. If you're just picking yourself up off the floor after hearing $161,000. $161,000. Those were the contributions. 81 dealers.
The ones that we know about, yeah.
Yeah, that we know about. So Jeff Wines here, what a great job he's doing at WPLG TV in investigating all of this. So as Earl said, the elections are right around the corner. We're going to hear a whole lot more after she's been elected. So stay tuned. Okay, I think we're going to go to Rick. Do you have some YouTubes for me?
I've got a couple here, actually. First one, Kirk in West by God, Virginia, is asking Earl, hey, what's the update on the book?
What's what?
What's the update on your second book?
Oh, second book.
Kurt's going to do this every week.
Thank you.
Kurt is on you.
Yeah, actually, Nancy was talking to the ghostwriter we have, and John Van Zyl, and we're wrapping it up. We're right there. The book's completed, and it just needs to be edited. It needs to be. We need to get the publisher going, and we're in the final stages. I feel confident that it will be published by the end of the year.
Yeah, that's
It's a redemption of a recovering car dealer.
Yeah, redemptions of a recovering car dealer. I have an introduction that I really have to finish up, and it kind of got away from me. So you can expect that book, and it's going to be a doozy. Rick?
And Joseph Kelleher says, I read an article on the internet that says CarMax is bankrupt. Is this true?
No, it's not true. They lost money last quarter, and they're victims of the same situation that all car dealers, used car dealers, new car dealers that have used car lots are experiencing now. They bought a lot of cars at too much money when the prices peaked, and they have them in inventory, and they either have to sell them or write them down, and they will take a loss. We wrote down quite a few cars last month ourselves, and that's what happens when a market peaks and starts going the other way. My blog this last week was, is it safe to go car shopping again? And that's new and used cars. And the answer is yes, it is safe to go car shopping. Just don't buy right this second. Start the process. Start the investigative process. Prices are coming down. And the supply is going up. The demand's dropping. Prices are going down. And it's turning from a seller's market to a buyer's market, but it's not there yet. It's still a seller's market, but the advantage the sellers have is much less. So start looking around, start sniffing around, comparing prices, reading consumer reports, and if you wait a couple of months, you get a pretty good deal on a car, new or used.
CarMax only has a 36% probability of going bankrupt this year.
36?
Only 36.
Is that because of the lawsuits that they recently had and this whole thing with titles? And
No, I don't-
they were facing a lot of negative press.
Now, they're considered a healthy company. This is an analysis website called Macro Access, and you could put in, it looks at all their financials and has a probability of going under.
Yeah, if the stock has gone down, I'm not going to recommend a stock to you, but I would. CarMax, Warren Buffett owns a chunk of that, and he's a pretty sharp investor. But it's just one of the best companies, period. Well, definitely one of the best car companies. And first of all, they're honest. Their extra fees are minimal. And their integrity is above reproach, and
they have the greatest name recognition almost of any brand.
Yeah, totally transparent. So, if the stock goes down, I'd buy some. I'm not going to.
They're not going anywhere.
Yeah, I'm not going to tout this.
They'll be here. They'll still be standing when new car dealers are gone.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, and from Negan One, our buddy out in Arizona, he says, I bought my Ford extended service plan on my 2019 Raptor that covers 35,000 more miles and 3 more years for $1,025 with zero deductible. I was able to get that price through a dealer in Rhode Island. He says a lot of extended warranties can be bought online from different dealers. You just have to shop around. As I found this place being on one of the Raptor forums.
Okay.
Seems like a pretty decent deal, actually.
It's impossible for me to comment on whether you're really smart or not because I myself a little bit. That is, what does it cover? What does it not cover? And I don't care what it costs, whether it costs, you could buy an extended service contract for $1.95, but if it doesn't cover anything, you pay too much money. So read it carefully, and nobody does. I'm telling you, nobody reads contracts. I don't read contracts. So my advice is just don't buy the damn things. Don't buy extended contracts. Buy a good car. Take care of it carefully. And if you really have to have some peace of mind, put $100 in the bank or in the stock market every week. And if you ever have a problem, which you probably won't, you got a little savings account there to take care of it instead of paying the insurance company a big premium. That's the reason Warren Buffett is a multi-billionaire. He makes most of his money in insurance companies. And it's a great way to do it. It's a seller's market for insurance companies and extended contracts.
Yeah, they make a ton. Okay, Rick, have you wrapped it up?
Well, I got a couple others. We can save those for next week if it's mystery shop time.
Okay, sounds good. How about you, Stu? We're running.
Yeah, let's get to the
short.
mystery shopping report. I think we just had a couple of comments here, but they're all stuff that we can get to next week.
Well, you go ahead and read the whole thing because I couldn't print it out. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I get to read the mystery shopping report?
Oh, absolutely.
I couldn't print it out.
Oh, okay. Well, here we go.
Then I got a partial.
I will explain to our listeners. We had a technical glitch, and Agent Lightning's report came in, but it was missing the photographs and some of the text, and she sent it. We have it all now, so I'll read the mystery shopping report.
Okay. I'll reintroduce Stu in just a moment, but I want to let all of you out there know that you are a part of the mystery shopping report. We want you to vote, and you can do that by texting us at 772-497-6530. You are an important part of the show. Now, here is the famous Stu Stewart.
Well, this is going to sound interesting because I write this in the voice of Earl Stewart, so when he reads it, it sounds natural. So if I sound a little bit older and a little bit wiser, that's because that's the reason.
A little bit better looking.
All right. Well, I look just like you, just a little less gray. Our mystery shopping report this week is Napleton Jeep Chrysler used cars on North Lake Boulevard in Palm Beach Gardens, Florida. It's been a while since we did a used car mystery shop here on Earl on Cars, about 4 months ago when we went to CarMax of Royal Palm Beach. It's a good thing we're doing this now because change is happening here in the used car market, and not just here in South Florida, by the way, but nationally. Prices are coming down, and the result is putting a hurting on car dealers. The cars sitting on dealers' lots right now were acquired in many cases months ago at much higher prices than they're worth right now. So the collective dealer body is now looking at billions of dollars in losses. And when I wrote that, I wasn't sure if it really was billions or tens of millions, but I just did a quick, kind of like a made-up calculation. There's about 150,000 new and used car dealers in the United States, mainly used car dealers. If each one of them lost only $10,000, we're talking billions. Mm-hmm. So, and we lost $200,000 last month. So in many cases, that's a lot more. High interest rates and also consumers unwilling to pay high prices anymore, they've contributed to the turnaround. Carvana, we were talking about CarMax and their stock price. Carvana, one of the industry's great disruptors, is now facing an ugly reckoning and a cratered stock price. It's basically in junk territory right now. I mean, not really. It's what is it, like $30 a share? I don't know what its highs were, but.
Yeah.
But, and this is usually a truism, what's bad for dealers turns out to be pretty good for everybody else in the form of lower prices. If you're paying cash, of course, because the higher interest rates are definitely going to cut into some of these savings that we're seeing from the lowering of prices. So you just can't catch a break. Back in July, when we mystery shopped CarMax Royal Palm, we found exactly what we expected to find. CarMax's price was really high. But it was completely in line with the market. And additionally, the employees at CarMax are polite and efficient, just as expected. This week, Agent Lightning headed to one of Ed Napleton's used car lots, the one at his Chrysler Dodge Jeep store on North Lake Boulevard in Palm Beach Gardens, Florida. And here's the report, and I'm reading it from the point of view of Agent Lightning. Before heading to Napleton, I picked out a used 2017 Jeep Wrangler Rubicon with just 24,000 miles advertised for sale on their website for $36,402. There was a Car Guru's banner, and that's a popular car buying service. Car Guru's banner below the price on their website, calling it a great deal with their signature green arrow logo. The Carfax report on the listing for the Jeep indicated one owner and no problems. And also, by the way, an extensive service history. I arrived mid-afternoon, and I wandered the lot for a bit. When no one approached, I started walking toward the door. A salesman walked outside and introduced himself. He said his name was CB, and asked me for my name. I let him know I was very interested in a 2017 Rubicon I had seen online. CB said it sounded like I knew my Jeeps. We laughed. CB wanted to know if I wanted to pay cash or finance my purchase. I told him I was prepared to pay cash, and I was aware that interest rates weren't so great. CB offered me a seat, asked me for my driver's license, and entered my info into his computer management system. He returned to the subject of financing and asked me how much money I intended to put down if I decided to finance. I told him I was only interested in knowing my out-the-door price and his best finance rates. I would decide whether to finance only after I had seen this. CB had a hard time finding the keys. He said it had just come in and had yet to go through cleanup. So we went over the Carfax report. And that's where the report ends. But we have it right here. It picks up... okay, so he had a hard finding the keys, so we sat down one of the Carfax report. CB did find the keys, and we went outside to find the Jeep. And I have a picture here. They walked out. There was no price on the Jeep, but there was an addendum. The addendum, it looks like their new car addendum, added $1,230 for the Exylon interior protection package, $998 for the low jack, and $199 for Napleton Care. So that's about $2,500 in addendum stuff on a used car. And we talked about that. That was theoretical last week. Now we have identified it with real evidence. We went for a test drive, but CB said that we couldn't go far because it was low on gas. Once around the back block and then back to the lot where he told me to park. He told me to park anywhere I wanted. He opened the back to show me the all-weather floor mats and a very dirty old tire cover that was dry rotted. He even rolled his eyes and said, "You probably don't want this." He asked if I had any questions and proceeded to lead me back to the desk. He said he's going to get a price from me from his sales manager. About 5 minutes later, he returned with Nathan, who had introduced himself, and to let me know he added a few extras, many of which could be removed if I didn't want them. And then he turned to CB to go over them with me. So here is I'm going to go over the buyer. They had a worksheet here. So remember, this is a used 2017 Jeep Rubicon she saw online, advertised for $36,402. Car Gurus called it a great deal with a big up green arrow. So here's the pricing. The selling price for Agent Lightning was $36,402, same as on the website. Then they added $199 for wheel locks and adjusted the price up to $36,601. They added sales tax, but also they added an $899 dealer services fee, junk fee, $129 e-tag file fee. Oh, I'm looking at this one here. Okay. Selling price $36,204. They added $399 for shadow mark, $199 for wheel locks, $995 for 4-inch round steps. Then they adjusted the price up to $37,995. Then they added the $899 dealer services fee, $129 e-file fee, $149 private tag agency fee, a $199 documentation fee, $998 for low jack, $1,230 for Xylon 7-year silver package, $199 for Napleton Care maintenance 1 year, $299 for nitrogen tire inflation, $799 for window tint, $916 for value protect.
You're joking, aren't you?
I'm not joking. Jonathan has it on the screen, I'm sure. I'm not looking at it. I usually when I do the mystery shopper, I'm adding all that up, but this is thousands and thousands. I think it's close to $7,000. Anyway, the final price with tax is $47,087. Take out the taxes of $2,500 or so, and they're marking it up $8,000. So that's what happened.
That could be a new record. We need to add up the number of additions and the total, and this could be a new record.
So there you go. So used car prices are coming down.
Well, let's digress just a little bit. This was a Car Guru recommended low price.
Right.
So one of the problems that you have with all your third-party, not all of them, but TrueCar, Consumer Reports, Costco, not so, but most of your third-party that give you recommendations for.
Oh, wow.
Rick just totaled at $7,860 in BS.
Oh.
So I'm back to my point, is that when you go to cars.com, Auto Trader, Car Guru, et cetera, they are not taking into consideration these BS fees.
Right.
And they are taking the price that the car dealer tells them they're selling the price for. They're lying to Car Guru. They're lying to Auto Trader. And Auto Trader takes that lie and posts it online. And you take it for granted and you go to the dealership. So this is one of these huge bogus frauds on the public that Attorney General Ashley Moody ignores, and for that matter, the U.S. Attorney General ignores because it's a national issue.
And this is Napleton. This is the same guy who just paid how many $12 million for doing this exact same thing.
Pocket change. Right. Yeah. He almost made the $12 million back on this deal.
On Agent Lightning. All right, there's more mystery shopping report. Agent Lightning says, I said, wow. Wow, that's a lot. And this is just going to be a fun vehicle for us. I don't feel we need any of that. He asked me who the decision maker was in my house. I replied, we both are when it comes to making big purchases like this. He excused himself. This is CB, the salesperson. He excused himself, said he'll go talk to Nathan again, see what he can remove. I stopped him, said, I don't have much time, so let's make sure he please puts his best foot forward. So I waited about 5 minutes, and he returned with another sheet. And in the other sheet, it's almost the same thing, but he removed, let me put these quickly side by side, removed the 4-inch round steps. Those are, I guess, step boards, like running boards. Mm-hmm. Took off the running boards, left the wheel locks, took off the shadow mark. I don't know what that is. Took off the low jack and the window tint and left everything else. So still probably took off about 1,000 or two, and it still had a bunch left.
That was pretty big of them. Stu, can you tell me? Can you repeat that again? Did CB ask Agent Lightning who made the?
Yes.
What were the words again?
Who was the decision maker in her house?
Decision maker. Yeah. Okay, I just wanted to be sure I heard that.
That was actually part of formal sales training. That was to establish and that was a question that everybody was trained back a long time ago.
In the 40s?
Well, for me, it was 1997.
Bottom line price dropped by about $4,800 to $5,000.
Oh, it did?
Yeah.
Okay, so that was still okay, but we're still dealing with the situation we're dealing with. Okay, so he brings back the sheet, took off all that stuff, and then CB wanted to know when we'd be making a decision. I said probably soon, shook his hand and left. And that's the shopping report. Well,
okay, we're coming at Tuesday is voting day. Just remember, a vote for Ashley Moody is a vote for crooked car dealers.
There you go.
We're going to have to take Rick to urgent care after he totaled those ridiculous.
It's the big one, Martha. I'm coming home.
He's turned into Sanford, Fred Sanford. All right, do you have any grades coming in over there? I don't know. Okay,
good. Negan 1, F for way too many fees. Mark Anderson, Mark from St. Louis, F. I tell CB that's not a Big 10-4. Jonathan Kelleher, F. Oh, I got to scroll for this group. Let's see. Tom Steckel. That one's an easy F. They need the money to pay that $10 million FTC fine. They never learn. Vincent G. In all capitals, I have never seen this many fees. I think that's an F. Wayne Veit, gigantic F. Mark Smith, definitely an F. Tim Gilliland, a masterclass in addendums. Which way to the door? F. Well, okay. Boo. F minus. Most editions I've ever seen. Brian Sidlatko, Napleton should be ashamed of themselves. F minus. Rocky Blockatiel, F. Mark Ryan, F. For me, that's a W for wow.
Yeah, I feel guilty now because we haven't done enough of these used car shopping reports. So this has been going on while we've been focusing on all these new cars, which, by the way, is kind of the same story over and over again. We're definitely doing some more. I got grades coming in. Martha on Facebook says ridiculous fees, and the decision maker gives an F minus for failure. Doug and Ella the cat, I think had a medical emergency over this. Doug just kept on sending messages, OMG, OMG. Ella said meow, but it probably meant OMG.
I think so.
Who else we got? We have Fs all over the place. Amy, OMG, and an F. We haven't even heard the end yet. They're grading it early. Who else I'm missing here? I don't want to miss anybody, but I'm going to give them an F also. Mark says, are they crazy? Yes, F minus. Frank says, great F. It would be funny if it wasn't happening to other customers.
And Kirk in West Bygod, Virginia, red alert, another Napleton dealership. Nearly 20% junk fees equals a solid, oh my God, F.
I don't think we've had unanimous Fs on a shopping report before.
No. I'm going to go with the death penalty.
You're rejecting the verdict and
you've been hanging with me too long. I talked about the death penalty the other night. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, obviously somebody, fell and they bumped their head on a blunt object. What else can I say? It's not even worth my time. Ridiculous. And Napleton continues to take advantage of everyone, almost everyone on this earth. So that's why it pays to listen to Earl Stewart on cars. F from Nancy Stewart.
You can't go lower?
Yes.
All right.
Of course, I say F. I can't do the death penalty. It's illegal.
No, it's not.
For Mr. Shopping Reports.
That's right. Earl Stewart is not an actual judge. I forgot about that. I got confused. I'm picturing you in your robes. All right. Well, good show, guys.
Okay. Okay, folks. Another great show from the Oldies Channel right here. All of us wish you a great weekend, and do your homework. Stay sharp. Watch out for these car dealers. It's a minefield out there, and it continues to be. You just adjusted my mic. Have a great weekend, everyone. We'll be right back here next weekend at 8 a.m.